Well, what do you know? It's episode 4 of the Get Inspired show. This upload is advert and track free for your auditory pleasure. This allows you to just enjoy the full show without the distraction of advertisers popping up and random songs occurring. I hope you enjoy the show. Good morning. This is the Get Inspired show with me, Adele Clough, and this morning we're going to talk about the topic of gratitude. It's going to be a little bit different this morning because I'm actually on holiday and I've brought you with me. We are recording this in the Peak District in Staffordshire, a beautiful part of England. I am looking after a friend's house for a week while she is away in Wales with her family, so feeling a lot of gratitude for that. So I've brought with me some of my tech kit, brought you with me to enjoy a lovely break with me for the next hour, and I'm hoping that any noises we encounter on the way as we record this will be okay. We might hear some dogs barking, some sheep doing their thing, some cows, who knows, but you have my focus. I'm giving you all that I have for you this morning. Let's dive in to gratitude. So let me first of all say a little bit about what I think gratitude means. For me, it's a sense of wonder and an appreciation for life. It's about us being grateful for all the wonderful things we've got in life. It's about noticing simple pleasures, experiencing thankfulness, and tuning into everything that we have. Now, let's just be really honest here. Most of us have got so much stuff. I mean physical stuff, possessions, more stuff than we could ever possibly need. But weirdly, we kind of don't notice it, or we think we need it. We have a strange relationship with need, I think. We confuse need with want. But we have all this stuff. And then many of us don't really notice we've got this stuff that makes life easier. I wonder if you've ever stopped to think how lucky you are to have a fridge, for example, to put your food in to keep it cold, because that is an amazing luxury that lets your food last way longer and saves you going to the shop multiple times a day or once a day to have fresh food. I wonder if you ever noticed that having a flushing toilet is a wonderful thing, or having a TV. But gratitude's not just about stuff. It's not just about being grateful for stuff. It's about cultivating a certain mindset, shifting our focus from what the negatives in our life are and what we might be lacking to a mindset of positivity and abundance. And there are so many reasons to do this, so many potential benefits for you. I've broken up the show into some different sections, so we'll be having a mix of really lovely music as we go along, and we'll talk about why gratitude's important, what are the benefits, we'll talk about what some of the challenges are in developing a more positive mindset. I'll share with you some examples of my own life. We'll have some top tips for how to embrace gratitude and bring it into your life. We're going to have a question from a listener. Before we dive into our first song, I wonder if you'd like to grab a pen and paper to jot down anything that's helpful that I share with you. Alternatively, you'll be able to listen back to this show anytime you want to by heading over to mixcloud.com and finding my profile, which is Yes2Gal, YESTOGAL, because I'm really wanting to pack in some useful content for you. We only have an hour together, so please do squeeze everything out of it you can and use it to your best advantage. With all that said, let's have a song. I've chosen a really beautiful song to start us off with. It's by musicians Nemo Patel and Daniel Narmod. The two of them brought together people from all around the world to create the most beautiful, heartwarming melody. It's inspired by a 21-day challenge where over 11,000 people from 118 countries learned that gratefulness is a habit consciously cultivated and a muscle we build over time. It really is the most beautiful song, and it celebrates all that is a blessing in life. This is Grateful, a love song to the world. one of my favourite songs ever. It's called Grateful, a love song to the world. It's by Nima Patel and Daniel Narmod, and you can download it for free if you enjoyed it too. Just go to www.emptyhandsmusic.org and click on the music tab. They've got lots of gorgeous songs there that you can download and enjoy. Today on the Get Inspired show, we are talking all about gratitude, and I chose this topic specifically for today's show because I'm actually away at the moment and you are with me in the Peak District. I'm looking after a friend's house while she's away for a week, and I certainly feel filled to the brim really with gratitude for my dear friend Laura, who I am so blessed to have in my life. She is an inspiration to me, and I'm thrilled to be able to be in her lovely home with my family for a week, and I was certainly keen to take her up on her kind offer to be here. It's a lovely part of England. So when she extended her offer to be here, I was certainly keen to say yes. I managed to take a break from my coaching work and figured I would just bring you with me to record the show. It actually takes more effort than you probably realise to make the Get Inspired show. I'm fairly new to radio. I've only worked in radio for about 18 months. Previously, I had done more generic shows which I didn't get to choose the content of, and on the Get Inspired show I write, present and produce all by myself. So it has been an extremely steep learning curve, but one for which I'm so grateful. When I first started in radio, it was my aim to do a life coaching based show, and when Smile Radio gave me the opportunity, I was absolutely thrilled. So there's the backstory on the Get Inspired show. Let's talk about gratitude, shall we? So just to get you on board with why this is such a fabulous topic for the show, let me talk to you about the benefits. So living with an attitude of gratitude can increase happiness, it can increase resilience, and it can improve your overall health and well-being, as well as reduce stress. Now, in many ways, it's actually really simple to adopt an attitude of gratitude. I'm going to guide you through that a little bit later on. But I think, first of all, we need to just do a stock take of what is happening for most of us on the planet, or certainly in the Western world. And I wonder if you experience this or can identify people around you that experience this. I think we're told to want more, to strive for more, to want the latest version of this and that. Let's think about that in terms of technology, because I think that's one we can probably relate to easiest. How many of us change our phone when the next one comes out, even though our phone is working perfectly well, or our laptop or our tablet? Why do we do that? Only you can answer the question for yourself about why you might do that. But I think it's so important to just stop and think about questions like this. Why are we wanting more and more and the latest? And I think one of the reasons can be that advertisers suck us in, don't they? And there's some really ridiculous commercials that make us believe really silly things, such as that a product they make will make us more lovable if we buy it, or that if we drink a fizzy drink, we're going to have more friends or be playing volleyball on the beach with this amazing body. It's not real. It's just an illusion. I think I've been really fortunate to be exposed to people who live life a different way. For example, I know somebody who decided to pare back their life and live with only 100 items, including clothing. That is really inspirational. And whilst I haven't chosen to do that myself, what I have chosen to do is be more minimal, have a more minimalist lifestyle. Now, this is all the rage at the minute. If you look on YouTube, there's so many videos on minimalism. And I think it's great to have a browse and look at it and hear what people say it does for them, because I actually think there's a correlation between minimalism, or some aspects of minimalism, and gratitude. I think it's actually challenging to feel gratitude when you've got so much stuff, because I think stuff, belongings, possessions make life so busy. You can never find the thing you want because you've got too much stuff hiding it. I actually think a quieter life without all the busyness around us helps us tune into gratitude. So what I did last year, wanting to have to be able to access more gratitude and also wanting less stuff is first of all, I donated lots of things. I gave things away that might bring joy to people that I knew, things I wasn't using. But I also had some car boot sales. So in the UK, if you're not from the UK, car boot sales are like yard sales if you're American, but there's a big patch of land and everyone goes with their cars and vans and sells stuff they don't want. So it's like a yard sale en masse, really. And rather than selling carloads, I actually borrowed my hubby's work van and I sold 3 big vans full of stuff that I'd just been holding on to, hoarding, or making excuses really for, I might need it, I'm keeping that for when. Those kind of excuses that we just make. But none of the things were bringing me joy. They can't have been, because when I sold them, I've not missed anything. And actually what it did was it brought me great joy to see them going to people who are excited to find them. I didn't set out to make a lot of money. I set out to rehome them and to make a little bit of money to pay my book editor, because I've written a book called Say Yes to Life. And I really want it to be edited to a really high standard and so that it's a lovely read and flows really well. So yeah, so basically got rid of 3 van loads of stuff, felt lighter, and found it so much easier to tap into gratitude. Now, what I would say is I've always had an advantage on the gratitude scale, I would say. My childhood was really, really tough. I experienced abuse of various types, and kind of being alive was a big thing to me, you know, like just getting through it. And so since then, I've always naturally gravitated towards noticing the things I have that help my life. What I mean by that is I have a car, and I'm so filled with gratitude that I have a car because it makes life so much easier. It's a beautiful lime green car that is a hybrid, so it makes electricity as I drive, and I call it Jazzy Garcia. What a fun name for a car. And every time I get in Jazzy, I am like, so honestly, every single time I get in that vehicle, I do tune into feeling grateful that I have a car. For many years I didn't. And also, even after having a car, I challenged myself some years ago to go 6 months without a car, just to remind myself how precious it is. And also, I think I'm fortunate in that I teach groups, and one of the things I talk about is gratitude. So I'm constantly, each time I teach, I'm reminded to tune into gratitude. If I'm slipping at all, I'm reminded again how important it is. I wonder how good you are at noticing the wonderful things in your life. It might be people, it might be places you visit, it might be things you earn that make life easier. I wonder how easy it is for you to tune in and notice them. Let me give you a little bit of music just to give you some chance to think about that. This is Oh Honey, Be Okay. That was Be Okay by Oh Honey. You might recognise it if you're a Glee fan. It was also featured on the trailer for 100 Foot Journey, the film, and Red Band Society. Things might sound a little bit different today because you're joining me on holiday in the Peak District. I am recording on my holiday away. Today we're talking all about the topic of gratitude. The Get Inspired Show is all about inspiring you to change your life and unleash your full potential. We often think life is really difficult, don't we? And it can be, it certainly can be. You know, life is not always easy and plain sailing. But I think some of the things that are really static in our life and make it easy for us are easily forgotten. I recall my friend who was over in India being in an earthquake, a really serious earthquake, and her telling me about what that was like for her to live through. And since then, this is quite a few years ago, since then I've been really touched by the fact that the ground is stable beneath my feet. So when I feel panicked and life is busy and oh my goodness, I'm not coping very well, because even I experience that, what it really helps me to do is to just stop and notice the ground is stable beneath my feet, because it's that gratefulness that is always solid beneath me. I have visited places that have earthquakes, but I've never experienced one. But I can only imagine the fear and the horror. So I feel so grateful that the ground is stable beneath my feet, and that is a great starting point for me to tune into gratefulness, because from there I can move on to other things. Let's just look at some of the challenges of us tuning into positivity. I wonder if you've noticed around you that there's a lot of negativity. People love a little bit of a gossip about negative stuff that's not working out. Oh, did you hear? This is going on. This is difficult. And the news, let's think about the news. What is that all about? Why on earth would we broadcast negativity? Why would we do that? Now, this is a really hot topic for me, honestly, because I used to work in radio where we would broadcast Sky News on the hour. So one of my roles was to time to the news. I had to listen to 2 minutes of negativity on the hour, and my show was 2 hours long, 4 minutes of negativity, and I couldn't turn it down or turn it off because I was connected to the Sky newsroom and I needed to come back to the studio I was in. I had absolutely no choice but to kind of hear this stuff. And just to be clear, I don't listen to the news. I don't read the news. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I subscribe to a publication called Positive News, and I read various types of news that comes from positive news outlets. But I certainly don't make space in my daily life to hear the terrible things that are happening. Now, it's not that I'm burying my head in the sand. I am very into signing petitions and supporting people seeking to make positive changes on the planet. But what I'm not going to do is listen to broadcasts telling me horrible negative stories again and again if I have no intention of actioning some positive change, because it gets in my head and it tells me the world is a dangerous place. You live on a very scary planet. That it tells me that people are bad, inherently bad, doing bad stuff. There is way more good happening in the world than bad. So let's just accept the fact that one of the things we do really well as humans is tune into negativity, and we want it. We want negativity. So much so that all the broadcasts are all around that. Supposed news are all around negativity. And that is completely outrageous. I invite you to do what I've done and just close the door on it. Do not listen to that. Don't. Because I can guarantee someone's going to tell you what's happening in the news anyway. You don't have to listen to it because people are all talking about it. So yes, that's one thing that's against us. Another thing that's against us trying to tune into gratitude and being grateful is busyness, being occupied with other things, rushing around, and how we feel when something goes wrong, when we get a flat tyre on the car, when something breaks in the home and appliance, the panic, oh my goodness, I'm too busy to sort it. Actually, whoa, just stop a minute. So what? You've got a flat tyre, right? Okay. You're not physically injured. You're not dead. What's the big deal? There's probably a bus. You can probably call a friend or get a taxi. Yeah, it's inconvenient because life's too busy, but actually it's a real opportunity to think, gosh, I'm so lucky that most of the days I drive my car, it stays in great working condition. Okay, another one. Your cooker breaks down. One of the reasons that might be stressful is it costs money to get it repaired, but you've probably got a microwave as well. I mean, really, let's think about this. We've got so much stuff and we think we need it. We so don't need it. Honestly, we don't need it, but we think we do, don't we? We think I've got to have a working oven, I've got to have a fridge, I've got to have a flushing toilet, I've got to have this. But when these things break down, we don't think, oh, people every single day of their lives in other parts of the world live like this. They never have it. Let me just tell you that 1 in 3 people don't have access to a flushing toilet. That's the statistic from the charity WaterAid. So if your toilet breaks, I say to you, get a grip. 1 in 3 people don't have access to a flushing toilet. Get yourself a bucket of water, throw it down, manage. It's okay. It's good for you. It teaches gratitude. 1 in 4 people don't have the means to refrigerate food in their own homes. That's what the BBC website says. 1 in 4. So if our fridge breaks, right, okay, chance to experience life as one of those 1 in 4 people. Because you know what? Your fridge will get fixed, won't it? Put your milk in some very cold water and put it in a dark place. You'll be okay. You'll manage. Knock on your neighbour's door. See if they'll pop some of your more expensive food items in their fridge for a little while. 1 in 5 people don't have a TV. That's a statistic by TV Technology. So if your TV breaks, it's a temporary thing, isn't it? 1 in 5 people don't have a TV. We think that TV is an essential item, don't we? But it's not. It simply is not. I remember when I cancelled my TV licence because I no longer had live TV, the most interesting conversation with the guy at TV licensing who asked me, what do you do with your evenings there? I'll just be clear with you. He clearly assumed I was a liar, that there was no way a human being can survive without a television. I mean, honestly, how have we arrived at a place where we think a television equates human survival? Human survival is food, shelter, water, and I would add, hopefully, love or companionship to that. But yes, he asked me, what do I do with my evening? As though every single human being on this planet, or that he deals with at least, watches TV. And I kind of didn't get into it with him, what I do. But I was like, I wanted to say to him, books, writing, conversations, people, socialising, love, family, oh my word. It drives me a bit bananas, actually. So yes, within this, here's a freebie for you on today's show. Just notice what you believe. And just because people around you are doing it a certain way, it doesn't mean that you have to do it that way too. It really, really doesn't. Choose how you live your life. But please choose to include some gratitude within that and tuning into all the things you're grateful for, all the things that are wonderful, because it will so make you happier. It is like the best life hack for a happier life. Tuning into gratefulness instantly leads to happiness. Now, we're going to have a song shortly, and then I'm going to give you some top tips for how to bring gratitude into your life, the actual practicalities, the easy way to be more filled with gratefulness and gratitude. So stay tuned for that. This is The Farm, Be Grateful. That was The Farm, Be Grateful. You're listening to Smile Radio. This is the Get Inspired show with me, Adele Clough, and we're talking all about gratitude. So when I'm teaching and I'm talking about gratitude, people often want to tell me that their life is so hard that they cannot tune into being grateful. It's just too hard, there's too much going on. And maybe if my life was harder, I would understand it and it wouldn't be so easy for me to tune into gratitude. Maybe the only reason I feel grateful is because I have a very privileged, blessed life. And I'm going to share with you now how I respond to that, really. I would say it's actually the opposite. The reason I'm really good at gratitude and feeling gratitude is because my life as a child was just horrific. It was absolutely terrible. And what I mean by that was I kind of felt I was struggling to survive every day. There wasn't a lot of love. We lived in poverty, really, with certainly no luxury. I remember getting the first TV, the first television in the house, and watching that, a little black and white, that the channel slipped. So you'd get a lot of static and you had to keep touching the channel button. We certainly didn't have a telephone in the house. We didn't have a microwave. We ate simple food and there wasn't an abundance of it. I didn't ask for food when I was hungry. I was given food at meal times. That's what there was. There was no point asking for a snack because there were no snacks. And I'm not upset as I speak about this. I'm really glad that that's my beginning in life, because now anything beyond that feels like real luxury. It feels absolutely wonderful. So I would say it's the opposite. It's not that I live a privileged, wonderful life, that I'm packed full to the brim with gratitude and gratefulness. It's actually that I know what it's like to have very, very, very little. And you don't need very much to be grateful. If you have a nice piece of fruit, you can be grateful for that lovely piece of fruit. It's the simple things we're looking for. A leaf on the ground that you pick up can be really beautiful. The laughter of someone you love is absolutely gorgeous. It's been still enough to hear these things, to tune into these things. Gratitude and gratefulness are not about having loads of stuff and everything you want in life. Life might not be where you want it at all. You might not have very much at all. You might be coming through a very difficult life experience. All the more reason to tune into what you do have and what is wonderful, because it will make getting through that life experience so much easier. People who feel gratitude and tune into gratitude are not lucky people with everything they want. Quite the opposite. Most of the people I know who are great at practicing a mindset of gratitude have very, very little and live quite humble, simple lifestyles. Many of them are really into minimalism. So whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever lifestyle you have, I promise you, gratitude is for you. It will benefit you. It will increase your happiness. This is Earth, Wind and Fire and their song Gratitude. That was Earth, Wind and Fire with Gratitude. We are talking all about gratitude on today's Get Inspired show on Smile Radio. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's talk about how you can tune into a greater sense of gratitude in your life right now. Here are my top tips. My first suggestion is that you begin to practice gratitude every single morning. If possible, make it the first thing you do when you wake up. So think about 3 things you are really, really grateful for. They could be people, experiences, it could be health, relationships, anything. It could be possessions. 3 things that in that moment you feel grateful for. Do this every morning and it will become an automatic way of thinking. You are retraining your brain to tune in to noticing things you are grateful for. At the start of the day is a really powerful time, a great time to begin thinking about gratitude. 3 things every single morning. Write them down. And then as you're going about your day-to-day life, begin to think about the things around you, the things you have, the wonderful people in your life, how your body moves, all the different things you can begin to feel grateful for. So this involves being present, being in the moment, not thinking ahead to what's coming next, not rushing around, but stopping and thinking, what do I have right now that I'm grateful for? Where am I? Notice, look around you more. The next thing is I invite you to start getting rid of things, clearing space. Go through your items that you own and ask yourself, is this useful to me? Does this add value to my life? Do I love it? If it is not useful to you, if it is not adding value, if you do not love it, I invite you to give it a new home. Let it go. Can you think of somebody who would love it, who it would give value to, who it would enhance their life? Give it to them. Let it go. Or give it to the charity shop, the thrift store. Choose a new home for it. Let it go. Make more space in your life. If you have more space in your home and in your life, there's more space in your mind. Have a little play with minimalism. I'm going to invite you to get rid of 100 things today. I've done this numerous times. Get a bag, get a box, and get going around your home, picking up 100 things you do not need, you do not use, you do not love. Get rid of them, and then do this again and again and again. You'd be amazed how easy it is to find 100 things you do not want, need, use. Start with your kitchen drawers. I mean, seriously, when did you last use a melon baller? You want to see the things I got rid of. Multiple potato mashers, all the ice cube trays, enough pack-up boxes to pack up everybody in my street with their lunch, never mind my family of 3. Start releasing, start getting rid. The next thing is I want you to begin expressing gratitude. If someone is lovely to you in a shop and helpful, tell them, say to them, you've been really helpful today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Go around spreading gratitude in the world. If you have a lovely friend who always makes time for you, who remembers your favourite drink and buys it in for you when you're going to visit, let them know how much you appreciate that. Write little notes to people who are thoughtful and kind to you. Spread gratitude everywhere. It makes such a difference, honestly. People think I'm really lucky because everyone's always so kind to me wherever I go, but I think I invest in that. I'm always smiling and happy and spreading gratitude wherever I go. It's no surprise that if you are really, really lovely to someone, they're probably going to give you a voucher to have a free cup of coffee in their cafe. You make them feel great. They want you to come back. That's how the universe works. If we have positive energy, more and more positive things come back to us. And on the topic of positivity, think about the company you keep. I think I mention this on every single show, but think about the people around you. Are you spending time with people who are dissatisfied with life, negative, moaning? They're no good. No good at all. Now, we must make the distinction. If somebody's having a temporarily difficult time, that's one thing. However, them talking about it all the time will not make that difficult event pass quicker, will it? Try to be around people who are grateful, who are filled with gratitude. If you don't have these people in your life at the moment, think about where you can find them and develop new friendships. And my last invitation to you is that you get a gratitude notebook. That's a little book that you write things in that happen to you on a day-to-day basis that you notice and that you are grateful for. Just quickly jot it down. It can be written notes of something that happens, something that you experience. It can be a little receipt if you have a really lovely cup of tea somewhere. If it's a greeting card somebody gives you, maybe things you are grateful for. Keep a record of them. And then when the day comes around where you don't feel great and life feels challenging, you have got a book full of all these wonderful reminders that life is full of abundance and that you have much to be grateful for. I'll just add one more in before we have a song. Try and listen to songs that make you feel great, that have positive messages. I've talked before on the show about loving comedy music. You'll know that I love the comedy band Lou Berger. Their music just makes me laugh and brings joy and brightness to my life. But the other type of music I really like is uplifting music, joyful music, the type of music I've played today. So I invite you to have playlists of music that make you feel great as well. And on that note, here's some Big Star. This is Thank You Friends. That was Big Star with Thank You Friends. You're listening to the Get Inspired show on Smile Radio with me, Adele Clough. I am a life coach and I'm here to inspire you to live your happiest, most fulfilling life. On each show, I take a listener's question. If you have a question for me, you can email it to hello@adeleclough.com. This week's question comes from Rita. She has 2 gorgeous, healthy boys and is currently breastfeeding her youngest that is only 9 months old. And she says, I'm so ashamed of my body since I've had my children and I feel really guilty that I feel this way. I'd be really interested in your thoughts, Adele. Thank you for getting in touch, Rita. I think the way you're feeling is a common feeling actually for many women who've had children. I think the media puts us under massive pressure to somehow magically spring back to having a body that resembles the one we had before we had children. And of course, carrying a child and giving birth is a massive thing on the body. All our internal organs move. How can we expect to be the same? And sure, the people we see in the media who've got personal trainers and chefs, life's different for them, isn't it? But for many of us who are running around after a child or children, we've not got somebody cooking all our meals or fine-tuning an exercise plan. Our exercise comes in the form of day-to-day life and running after children. So first of all, really let that guilt go, Rita. It's completely understandable that you feel this shame. You feel ashamed. Society kind of puts that on us. So just let yourself off the hook on that. Now, let's talk about how you're seeing yourself. You say you are ashamed of your body. That is that's a really powerful statement, isn't it? I'm ashamed of my body. I really want to invite you to turn around the way you're viewing your body. And I'd like you to think about writing some affirmations that you repeat to yourself, that you write down and say again and again. My first one that I would think would be great for you is, I am grateful that my body created 2 healthy boys. And how about something like, I'm grateful that my body is strong enough to carry 2 children. Or I'm grateful that my body is strong enough to carry 2 children and a massive nappy bag all at once wherever I go. I'm grateful that my body has kept me healthy so that I can be okay with so little sleep. I'm grateful that my body produces milk for my baby. I'm grateful for this phenomenal body that carried 2 children for 9 months, nurturing them and growing them until they were ready for me to birth them. My body is absolutely amazing. I'm grateful for my legs that take me wherever I want to go. I'm grateful for my hands that allow me to do so many everyday tasks. I'm grateful for this strong, resilient body that serves me so well. These are really different messages, Rita, to the ones you're giving yourself at the moment. I think what's really important is to look at your body another way, to invite a different way of thinking, because our thoughts create our feelings. And then our feelings create our actions, and then our actions create our reality, our life. So if you're thinking things like, I'm ashamed of my body, I can only imagine what feelings those thoughts are generating, and I'm sure that they're not good feelings. Now, in contrast, if you think, I'm really grateful for my body, for it doing this for me and that for me, you will feel differently. You will feel very, very different about your body. So that is my suggestion to you. Start off nurturing some more loving, compassionate thoughts about your body. Now, a great way to do this, to practice affirmations, is have them places you can see them. Put them inside the cupboard where your tea bags live, have them on the bathroom mirror, and keep saying them to yourself. They will not feel real initially. You are acting as if you believe them. You're retraining your brain. The more you do them, the greater the benefit. And before you know it, your brain will believe them to be real. Fantasy and reality use the same neurological pathways in your brain, the same superhighways in your brain. So you can say something that isn't real and it will become real. It is a labour of love. You do have to keep doing it, practicing it every single day. Do a little checklist if you want to. See if you can say these 10 times a day. Mine are just suggestions. Come up with some that you feel are authentic for you, that you can say and begin to believe. And remember, you are absolutely amazing. You've had 2 children. You're a mama. You're fabulous. And so is your body. Rita, I really hope this is helpful to you. And I wish you the happiest, most fulfilling life possible. I've got a lovely song now for you. I think it's a really inspiring one. It's by Pete Philly and Perquisite, and it is called Grateful. That was Pete Philly and Perquisite and their lovely song Grateful. I think it's a really inspiring song and perfect for today's topic of gratitude. Thank you so much for joining me for this morning's Get Inspired show. It's been an interesting one because I am in the Peak District recording it on my hollybobs. I think we've managed really well to avoid lots of noise distractions. I have heard a few little nature sounds around me, and also there's a little doggy close by that's barked at points, but I think we've coped really well with keeping the sound disturbances to a minimum. Things will be back to normal next week. So thank you for your patience with how today's show has gone. I hope you found it useful. Do reach out and connect with me on social media if you'd like to. I'm Yes2Gal on all platforms except for Instagram, where I am the Yes2Gal. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. on Smile Radio next Saturday, and you can catch all of my shows anytime you want to by heading over to Mixcloud and searching for Yes2Gal. Have a great week. you've enjoyed this episode of the Get Inspired Show, please feel free to like, subscribe and leave me a comment letting me know your thoughts. And as always, remember that you're precious and take good care.